Hello and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am going to show you how to install the Hyper-V roles in Windows Server 2022 and what are the requirements to install this role, Hyper-V role, and how to set up some other settings in Hyper-V Manager. So let's start. The first thing that I wanted to tell you is that if you are getting this error message while installing the Hyper-V role, that means that you have to enable the virtualization feature in BIOS. For example, that if you are having certain hardware like HP server, for that reason what you have to do is you have to log into your BIOS configuration, and from there you have to go to your virtualization options. Like you are able to see that in HP BIOS there will be system options, and from there you will be able to log into virtualization option, and from virtualization option you will be able to enable the virtualization features like VTX, VTD, SR, IOV. So VTX, you already know that VTX is required for CPU acceleration for virtual machine, and VTD is required basically for directed input output virtualization, and SR IOV is actually required for single root IO virtualization. So these are three virtualization technology that you have to enable in the BIOS. See, now what I am going to show you here, these are pretty basic and simple stuff. Everybody should know and everybody should be working on this already. If you are Windows administrator or Hyper-V administrator, or you are part of Intel team. So now in Hyper-V Manager I am going to show you how you are going to create a virtual switch. So you know already that to communicate between the virtual machines you need virtual switches, and there are three types of virtual switches you can create in Hyper-V. Those are external, internal, and private. External means the virtual machines can communicate with the host network and the physical network. Normally in the production environment, your client will be able to log into your virtual machine with this external virtual switches, and in internal virtual switches you can use it when you can actually restrict your virtual machines to communicate with the physical network. You are able to allow the virtual machines to communicate with the host network but not with the physical network. And in private you are actually restricting your communication within your internal only, or within your virtual machines only. You are restricting your virtual machines to communicate with the host network as well as the physical network. So these are the three virtual switches that you can create. So now I am going to show you how you are going to create a private virtual switch here. So private virtual switch can be used in a lab or test environment. So as this is a test or lab environment setup, so I am going to create a private virtual switch. So from Hyper-V Manager you can click on Virtual Switch Manager here, this option, and this window will pop up, and this is, you can call it as an wizard also. So here, create virtual switch, you can select private and this type of virtual switch, and click on create virtual switch here, and you can give a name like private virtual switch. You can give a name like private virtual switch, and you can see that connection type is private network, and all other things are actually all default. You can click on apply, and there will be one network device created. So if you again click on virtual switch manager, you can see that virtual private switch, this device is created to communicate between the virtual machine. Next, I am going to show you how to create a virtual hard disk. So from Hyper-V Manager, click on New and then click on Hard Disk, and new virtual hard disk wizard will start. Before you begin screen, simply click on Next and choose disk format. Here, if you want a larger disk support, then you can select VHDX, which actually supports 64 TB of virtual hard disk, and if you want up to 2 TB then or less, then you can select VHD. So here I am selecting VHD because this is a lab environment, and simply click on Next. And here, what type of virtual hard disk do you want to create? So I am going to go ahead with the fixed size because this is the fastest, and performance will be better. So better than dynamically expanding. So normally will be selecting fixed size only. Then click on Next, and here what I am going to do is I am going to give a name like new fixed virtual hard disk, and I am going to give a location in D drive. Then click on Next, and here what I am going to do is create a new blank virtual hard disk. Here I am going to give a size of 60 GB. This is the size, 60 GB. Then click on Next. This is the summary, completing the new virtual hard disk wizard, and click on Finish. Creating new virtual hard disk. This will take some time. So the new virtual hard disk is created. You can see that this is the new virtual hard disk, new fixed virtual hard disk.vhd. This is a 60 GB. You can see that this is a 60 GB hard disk. Now this is the way we have to create the fixed virtual hard disk in Hyper-V Manager console. Now one important question that can be asked in the interview, like what is Gen 1 and Gen 2 virtual hard disk. So you can answer in this way that Gen 1 virtual hard disk is the old version of virtual hard disk, which actually supports older Windows Server operating system like Windows Server 2012, and from Windows Server 2016 the virtual Gen 2 type of virtual hard disk is actually introduced, and in Gen 1 type of virtual hard disk, there are some issues related to SCSI hard disk. The virtual machines actually were not able to boot from a SCSI hard disk, and these issues actually resolved in Gen 2 type of virtual hard disk, which is actually introduced in Windows Server 2016, and there are some improvements also and some benefits in supporting Gen 2 type of virtual hard disk. For example, it supports UEFI, and it supports secure boot, TPM. So these are the improvements have been done for Gen 2 type of virtual hard disk. So if you answer in this way, then it will be actually very good for creating the impression to the interviewer. So I hope this information is useful for your career as a Intel administrator or Windows administrator. For more such videos, please do subscribe to my channel and share these videos with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.